Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera and very good morning. Greeting to our respected lecturer, Dr. Arina Soki, Dr. Nurul Aimi, and Sir Nick Khairul Irfan, and guest speaker, which in senior Dr. Abdul Razak bin Yaakob and Mr. Azli Sham Rosli, and my fellow friends. So before we start, I would like to start our program with Kitab Al-Fatihah. My name is Muhammad Hakim bin Ahmad Daud as your moderator for today. Welcome to the Collaborative Lecture Series titled Real-Time Application in Drilling Operation. Now, without further ado, let's start off with an introduction to this program for the first session, which is Application of Machine Learning in Drilling in Real Time. So, for your information, Engineer Abdul Razak bin Yaakob, Head of Strategic Growth and Business Advancements. Currently, he works at Faazmiar Technologies in Berhad. Okay, I would like to tell about Engineer Razak Yaakob background. So, Engineer Razak Yaakob served as a member of the Corporate Communication Committee, Board of Engineer Malaysia. He holds a degree in petroleum engineering and a Master of Business Administration. As an engineer consultant in the oil and gas industry, his expertise lies in drilling engineering and the application of machine learning in engineering. Additionally, he is the head of strategic growth at a local technology company. Engineer Razak is also a council manager member and advice for the oil, gas and mining technical division at the Institution of Engineer Malaysia. So I would like to give a little bit about the application of machine learning in real-time operation analysis for daily process revolutions in the oil and gas industry. So this is our synopsis for the first session. So this talk will explore how advanced machine learning technologies are being integrated into drilling operation to enhance efficiency, safety, and decision making. Key topics will include the fundamental of machine learning, specific application in drilling, as well as the benefit and challenge of the real-time data analysis. Attendees will gain a comprehensive understanding of how machine learning is transforming the drilling industry and practical insight into adapting this technology in their operation. Without further ado, I would like to invite the first speaker to deliver his knowledge on this first topic.
Thank you, Daniel. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all participants. And I'm glad that all of you, there are 33 of you today I can see inside there, and hopefully you will benefit from the talk session that we will be presenting over here. So when I talk about the machine learning, we are talking about the artificial intelligence. This topic is so very, very important, not only for the oil and gas industry, but the entire world per se. Yeah? Since I am in the IEM, Institution of Engineers Malaysia, I hope all of you are a member of IEM so that you all can actually gain benefits from being the member. Yeah, there are student members over there. So if you see in all of the technical divisions that we have in IEM, every technical division of which representing the disciplines of engineering, they are all focusing on AI. Yeah, so it is very, very important that all of you give this topic a little bit of attention in your career development in the future, as well as in your studies right now. What I can say in the future, yeah, in the future, I would foresee that AI, the capability to do coding, understanding what machine learning can actually do, and all that will become a skill that is equivalent to your Excel spreadsheet or using Word document and all that. But your skill in drilling or in the oil and gas industry, it will still be your core capability. And I also would like to mention over here that everyone needs to know what is going on with the industry in terms of the development of the artificial intelligence. So please do give your attention to this presentation as well as the next presentation, because I think your lecturers has put together an excellent program over here, bringing in people from the industry to actually put together. Not all universities actually do this, yeah. So all of you are very, very fortunate that you have lecturers as well as the committee that puts together this kind of presentation. Okay, let's just proceed with the next slides, which is the agenda. Yeah. So today, what I'm planning to do is to talk a little bit about machine learning techniques in the drilling operations, real-time analysis, what it is all about, and what is the benefits and challenges that we have. Um, AI and machine learning is not new. Yeah. It has been there for more than 10 years, more than 15 years, more than 20 years, in fact. But um, it is slowly going into, especially in the oil and gas industry, it is much slower. I would say in the oil and gas industry, because oil and gas industry is very, very strict in terms of our procedures, our guidelines, and so on and so forth. And plus, it is very, very risky. Yeah, the risk is much higher in our industry, and that's the reason why our industry pays a lot more than any other industry out there. So I hope all of you take up this challenge, understand what all your core subject is all about, supplement it together with your understanding in the oil and gas, sorry, the artificial intelligence and machine learning, and you will be good to to do excellent work in the industry and contributing to the industry. Okay, so we will be looking at, those are our agenda. So the next is, I just would like to talk a little bit about what Faazmiar technology is all about. And it is a, a technology company. So what we do is we bring in technology, especially from the Austria, Norway, UK, and all that. So we have many principles. So we bring in all of these principles, and then we carved out programs as well as packages that fits into the requirement of local needs. Yeah. So that's basically what we do. And we also will be developing some of the major projects that we will be doing is some of the applications that we are trying to create. So if all of you have the chance to be part of the internship program, that will be great. We do have that opening, but only for people with 6 months and above. Yeah. All right. And these are some of our other capabilities. Some things like we do training as well, but all of those is related to the use of technology. Yeah. We are more of the company that is providing product and services to the next speaker, which is Mr. Azli Sham over there, who basically will be covering from the operator side. So if you understand oil and gas industry, there's always the operator side, the client, and also the service provider like Faazmiar Technology. A little bit about myself. Kata orang tak kenal maka tak cinta. So basically, I basically have a petroleum engineering degree, and I can understand what basically all of you are going through. Most of uh, the subjects that you are taking right now are something that I basically have gone through as well. So I can understand, if you find some of the courses are tough, but I can assure you, one of the biggest things that you will need to understand in the future is your basic sciences. In any of the interns that come over and work with me throughout my career, there's always like two things that I will ask them. Can you tell me what are the three Newton's law? And can you explain to me the concept of Boyle's and Bernoulli's law? That's all. That's all there is. Because in drilling engineering, if you understand that, your life would be so much, so much, so much easier. And those interns that come over and work with me, when they go back to their university, they come back to me and say that thank you very much for that advice, because that's exactly what excel them in their in their studies when they continue on. Okay, all right, and as you can see, I started off as a drilling engineer. I actually really love to be a reservoir engineer. That's what I wanted to do earlier. However, my career path took me on a different journey, which is more focused on drilling. However, I take this as a challenge as well as something that I can contribute to the entire industry, where in the field development plan, if you realize, you get to work in any part of it, because it is entire project that includes every single thing of what you actually have learned. Yeah. Apart from that, I very much involved with the Institution of Engineers Malaysia. That's the reason why I asked earlier whether any of you are actually the member of the IEM student chapter over in UiTM. If you are, that's great. If you have not, please do sign up, because this is an organization that will actually help you in your career. When I was studying last time, there's no one is there to tell me about IEM and BEM, Board of Engineers Malaysia. So I kind of just course through, and when I got to know about IEM, I said to myself, I'm going to make sure that all of the students out there know that there's someone out there to actually help them in their career. So please do sign up, and then get to know what is going on with the industry. As I mentioned over to you, if you are studying right now, you also will need to know what is going on with the world out there. You also will need to know what is the new things that comes out in the industry. Or you also will need to know what is out there to actually help you in your career. If you basically just focus on your study, I can assure you, you will remain one of the furniture in the offices. So you can choose to embrace your career and try to progress, or you can choose to come over to work 8 to 5, and then you will do your probably simulation whatsoever, pass to your boss. That's about it. 8 to 5, where your work is not dynamic, but your career should be something, because this is your life, is it? So you should actually feel that you are contributing, because this gives the satisfaction to your career. Okay, that's enough for myself. Let us move on and start what is actually machine learning is all about. Okay, number one, when we talk about machine learning and the oil and gas industry, number one is machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. So you have Industrial 4.0, you have all the Internet of Things, you have everything else inside there. But underneath of artificial intelligence is the machine learning. And what it is that it enables the computer to learn what we do and make prediction of what is the next thing that is supposed to be done. It is like this. Previously, if say for example you graduated like 20 plus years ago, yeah, uh and at that time they have faxes, yeah, they have faxes. You know what faxes is something that whenever that people send a piece of paper from one the other end of the world, and then you basically will get the same sheet of paper coming out from the machine. And then what engineers will need to do at that time is we get that fax and then we photocopy it, and we also distributed it. So these are all manual work. And what machine learning do is that it learns this process and it will do everything for you. So machine learning, AI, and whatever that is going on out there, let me just tell you, it does not take over our jobs. What it is to elevate our jobs to the next level. It makes us more valuable in the industry. It basically makes us focus more on what really matters. Okay, so many people think, oh, this AI is going to take away my job. No, but the AI and machine learning will only take away the job which you will need to know to do manually. You know, you probably would go one day, you know, if I were come over and tell you that go and find me the wells for the past 10 years. Yeah, so you in the previous time, you will go to the library, and you will go to um every single rack, and what you will do is find the well files and then get the information whatsoever, and it will take you days to actually do that. But right now, all you have to do is just type in wells for the past 10 years, and everything will come to you in just split minutes. That's what machine learning is all about. And machine learning, between the traditional programming and machine learning, so if you realize, previously last time you type in in my time probably it was Fortran, but now probably you use C++ or SQL whatsoever. Yeah, so you probably write there, okay, type name. Okay, so you will do is exactly you get the name. Yeah, that's the technical program, traditional programming. But what machine learning does is that it will it will learn that you say, okay, type name. And if you have done that about 10 times, it learns, and then it will just do it by itself. It learns whatever that you do, and it's basically will do it by on its own. So machine learning is about algorithm. It's about to improve performance with more data. So the more data that you input in, the more the better the results of your things that you query. The very simple way of demonstrating this is ChatGPT. I am, a fan of ChatGPT, and I think I just cannot work efficiently without ChatGPT, because everything of my work, including coming up with the corporate song for the organization, is using ChatGPT as well as the AI. So that's how, easy that is. A person who has no inclination of artistic value whatsoever in my bone, I am able to actually create a song using an AI. So that's how powerful this this topic is to you, yeah, and how powerful this is to the oil and gas industry. Yeah. So the primary types of machine learning. Okay, this is very important because if you see, there are different levels of what machine can actually learn from you. One is supervised learning. Yeah. Second is unsupervised. And third is reinforcement learning. So all of this information, yeah, I for right now, I am just giving you this information, but I would like you to go back and actually learn some more about this and really, really understand what these differences are, because all of this can actually be found on your ChatGPT or Google. Yeah. So supervised learning is when you put together an algorithm and you train the machine on the labeled data. When we talk about labeled data, you already mentioned over there, we are talking about rate of penetration. Yeah. So it will take a look at all of the rate of penetration for the past 10, 20, 30 years, whatever information that you actually have in your system, it will actually take a look at those information. So that's how important it is. And if I were to do it manually, it will take like probably months to actually get those information, but machine can actually do it within seconds. That's how powerful machine learning is. So I hope all of you realize this and embrace this new technology. Number two is unsupervised learning. This is basically the algorithm will find pattern, yeah, of unlabeled data. And this is where we talk about, it will go into a certain, say, for example, well one, well two, well three. It's unlabeled just by wells. However, all the items inside there is not known. However, it will sweep through all of this information and it will find a pattern, and that pattern is something that they will actually propose over to you, and whether you want to accept it or not. That's why when we talk about autonomous drilling, when we talk about automation, those are two different things. Yeah, automation and autonomous. Yeah, but please, if you don't understand that, please go back and Google this. If this is your first time hearing the difference between autonomous and automation, yeah, please go over and learn it. Yeah, because it is really important for you to understand that differences. Yeah. The number three is reinforcement learning. This is algorithm that learns by interacting with the environment and when you receive feedback. So say for example, when you start drilling and then you see the changes in the formation, it takes up that information, it learns that information, and it will take a look at what basically the information, similar kind of things that happens before, and it brings out that information into that recommendation. See how powerful that thing is. I can't even a person who has actually learned about, I mean, work in this industry for many years, I still find this such a great invention, because it helps me out a lot in terms of making that decision. Well, making that decision, either I want to drill faster, do I want to start circulating now, do I want to clean out the hole, what do I want to do right now? And machine learning can actually help me in making that decision. That decision is still yours, but unless you go for autonomous, where you fully make sure that the machine actually can make that good decision for you. Have we reached that stage? Actually, we have in the industry. Are we brave enough to actually make use of it? I wouldn't say I would. I would still want to test it because for me, I am not confident yet. I am still more confident about my decision. When I want to make a really important decision, yeah, which um, which impacts multi-millions. Realize that in the oil and gas industry, especially in drilling operations, decision that you make impacts millions and millions of US dollar. Yeah. So if you decide to drill faster and you get stuck, easily you will be spending for the next 4 million US dollar to actually recover back. Who's going to pay? So that is the reason why as well, people in the oil and gas industry uh, get paid a lot more because we make that decision, and all of that responsibility is on our shoulder. And if you want a job that pays a lot, then you have to be ready to take bigger responsibility. Yeah, it's responsibility that deals with people's life, and you have to take that responsibility really really seriously. And when you get calls 3 o'clock in the morning and asking you, Raza, what should we do? We have a kick, and right now the well is shut down. These are our what we have learned so far. And you get 3 o'clock in the morning and you have to you know make that decision. What should you do? So you and I can say, if you don't want that responsibility, there's always other jobs that that does that lah. You can come to the office at 8 o'clock and then go back at 5, and then you probably will do some reports and you will do some photocopying and things like that. But will you get satisfaction in your career? Depends on an individual. Yeah. So if you choose an exciting life of taking risk and earning a lot more, this is a job for you. Okay. All right. Machine learning in the oil and gas industries, basically it generates a vast amount of data. You just imagine, yeah. And if you have done work in the oil and gas industry, but later you will do FDP, you will realize that you will be looking at the logs, you will be looking at the information from the sensors, from the MWD, LWD, and whatnot. And then also you have reports on on the formation, and then you have operational parameters. You need to take a look at the ROP, you need to take a look at how much you are pumping in and all that. So all of that information, you can go crazy with those information, because all of that before this, drilling engineers have to know all of those information at the tip of our fingers. Yeah. So whenever our managers basically ask us, so Raza, what kind of ROP that we should be doing in this particular whole section, you need to have that. And we should be using this ROP because in the previous 3 wells, we have tried the ROP which is higher, but we actually get a little bit of more of the stuck with the drill cuttings not cleaned out properly, and so on and so forth. You need to have those information on the tips of fingertips, because you are a drilling engineer. So that is the amount of data. But right now, I just like okay, this is the best ROP that we should be using based on the wells that in a matter of seconds, and I don't need to bother myself with all the information anymore. It elevates my work from finding data in the library into just making that decision and also evaluating what is the best, the most efficient for the well. Yeah. So important. So analyze the data in real time and providing insight that will previously unattainable. So you just imagine, we are drilling out there offshore, and then um, with the real-time information, with the real-time analysis, all of those things that I was mentioning, it basically can be done on the go. That's how powerful our machine is right now. So transform drilling operations, making it more efficient, safe, and cost effective. So machine learning, it basically definitely save money, yeah, because it basically helps you to make better decision. um because probably for people with experience, they basically will be able to say, oh, I think this is good, this is good. These people are great. However, with machine learning, we have a a solid proof that this is the best uh, decision or recommendation to make. Yeah, cost effective, definitely, and effective. So all of this is an important integral part of what machine learning is all about. Yeah. Okay, next thing that I would like to time check, it is 9:30 right now, so that's good. We have to stop at about 10:40, and then we open up question and answers. I will try to finish up. There's not many over here. There's only like about 24 slides, so we are on the slide number 7. And in case you all need to answer any question right now, please just open your mic and then ask me question. Usually for me, talking for 2 hours can be very tiring. So if you ask question, I know that I have an a live person out there. And if I do this physically, it is actually much better because I can actually gauge your understanding in each one of these items. Yeah. So data collection and processing, very, very important. Number one, data collected basically comes from many, many sources. So you have sensors on the drilling. So you have MWD, LWD, all that got sensors. So those information come from a sensor. Operational log, those squiggly lines, those colors mean something. Either you want to go in the previously, what we need to do, we will just go in each one of those, like, oh, this step, this step, this is very high, oh, this is good, this is good, okay, and then you mark, color it. Nowadays all of that can be done, or previously it can be done on the computer, but nowadays you can just ask the computer to take a look for you. That's how easy life is. And it basically elevates your capability as an engineer in the future. Yeah. Please don't stuck yourself to do manual work, but understand what the principles behind a certain decision is, and then go to decision part, because that is the more important part, you as an engineer. Yeah. All right, data must be cleared, clean, and processed. Okay, if you think that the data is just, yeah, it's just usable as it is, no, you have to make sure that the data is cleaned up first. Yeah. When we talk about data that is from 40, 50, 60 years ago, and then you want to digitalize it, put it on the computer. Last time, you people were writing the report manually, and then scanned it. No, 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 they don't have scan. They fax it, and then we photocopy it. So, but nowadays, all of that, you turn on the computer, you search, and then the information is already there. So normalization. What exactly is normalization? Normalization is about whenever that you would want, say, for example, a different depth. One a good example that I can go is, each one of the rig will have a different um, height. Yeah. The riser height, also of drilling floor height and all that. So when you put together all of this logs together, you will need to normalize those depth to make sure that it is all at the same sequence, at the same reference depth. Outliers detection is about anomalies. So if say for example you see information and then and you will see this in your FDP later, and then you have information coming out. Suddenly you have information that one dot that is totally out of this world. So how do we want to handle with that? So this data will need to be cleaned, because if you put in all the wrong data, then the the analysis will be wrong. Yeah, so don't put in wrong data. And this is where we, a professional, will need to go in and make sure, this data goes in. This data does not go in. We want to make sure that the data is cleaned up, and you have to make that decision what data is usable and what data is noise. Okay. All right, feature extraction. When we talk about feature over here, yeah, we talk about a group of items. So a group of items, and we say for example, okay, information, do it together, and then we want to make sure that it is all correctly put together, in uh, a grouping that is correct so that the computer can actually understand it. One of the major things that you probably would want to understand is how basically computers um, understand this information, and making use of this information to suggest or to recommend to you what is the best way to proceed with the operations. Yeah. So data collection and pre-processing is really, really important. Next is the key algorithm and models. I do not want to spend too much time over here, because these are the items which is in the next level. You don't need to know per se, but please do understand there are many models that is being used over here. And if you understand, what regression models is all about, classification model is all about, clustering models, as well as neural network, it will help you to understand how the computer takes with the information that you provide. So you have the data, you have the analysis part, and then you have the output part where they will recommend over to you what to do. Or in the autonomous, what basically the computer or the machine learning will actually ask the autonomous part to act on. It is important for you to understand how the computer works, so that you will not fall under, like, but saying like, oh, I don't know how the computer, the the program actually recommend this. Like, I don't really understand. No, that's not the way it is. Because when we have the applications that churn out results, as an engineer, we will need to know where those information actually comes from, how those information was analyzed, and how the computer has actually come up with the recommendation that way. Yeah. So when we talk about linear regression, basically it predicts the trend of drilling rates. So linear regression, we take a look. Okay, drilling rates over here, after a certain amount of time, it basically will wear out your drill pipe. Because of the friction and because of touching and so on and so forth. So this is where this kind of model is used. Classification models is more on the operational state. It basically detects anomalies. So basically, when we take a look, okay, drill, oh, cantik, cantik, cantik. Oh, suddenly it spiked up. Okay, that spiked up is classified as trouble. And when we talk about trouble, we talk about what kind of trouble that is. All of this is done by the computer. And it turns out, say, oh, this is the kind of trouble that you are having. So probably you want to do this. That's how things are. clustering models using a k-means clusterings. That is more of the grouping, yeah, and also neural network, powerful for complex pattern. Okay, this one is more of whenever that you want to do um, autonomous. Whenever that, say for example, it recognize any kind of pattern, and then it identifies subtle correlation. Sometimes whenever that, sometimes when we human can't even see that correlation. And I'm sure if you are doing the FDP and you see the correlation of the logs and whatnot, as well as your height, whatever, you sometimes missed out some of the depth. But computers will actually be doing it accurately. So that's how important this the machine learning in our operations. Even right now, and not fully autonomous, it is important even at this point where we want to make our decision much better. Yeah. Okay, next is on the applications of the real-time operations. So you have all of this machine learning over there, and how basically it is applied to real time. And probably later, Mr. Azisham will actually cover some of this as well. Mr. Azisham is a client of Faazmiar Technology in Petronas, who basically will be able to actually explain to you a little bit more on the client side. What I am doing right now is explaining you from the service provider side, and it is great. I mean, like this talk session that you have today is it is so perfect because you get to see the point of view of a service provider as well as an operator in dealing with these real-time operations. You know, whoever put this talk session together is just brilliant. I can say it's just brilliant because you hit the most important part of what the real-time operations is all about. Okay, so for real-time, if you see over there, real-time center, that's where all the information is gathered, and then if there is anything that is triggered whatsoever, it will be shown over there, and then we basically will it will be logged because we need to know what basically is happening, and then we distribute. And when we talk about intervention, it's not well intervention. It's more like, what are we going to do? Uh, are we going to stop drilling? Are we going to slow down the drilling? Are we going to pump up more? So, this decision is something that is what intervention is all about. And then you communicate that alert to the authorized personnel over on the rig side, and then you validate that sensor reading at the rig side. Sometimes the sensor is not performing well, and so on and so forth. Again, we are dealing with electronics. We are dealing with components. These components can be got downtime and all that. That's the reason why this work, all of this that I'm explaining to you, does not replaces the job of an engineer like yourself and myself. Yeah. So inshallah, our job is secured. It basically elevates, as I mentioned, is elevate our job to the next level where we will use a lot more of our thinking capacity rather than our running skills, yeah, of making photocopies or making, of printing stuff, or finding information in the library or whatsoever, because we use a lot more of our time on quality decisions. Yeah. So from the validate, then it goes in, zoomed in and evaluate the alert and so on and so forth. So it goes into the circle from a real-time center all the way into our uh, into the ring. And if you realize as well, we basically distribute information through mobile phones and tab and all that, so that the information gets distributed to the right people. Yeah, again, all of this information that we have is confidential. It is not something that you want to share with anyone. Yeah, uh drilling information is always confidential. Yeah, it can a little bit about the engineering ethics, if I may. Yeah, engineering ethics is very important. So later, whenever that you are working with a lot of information which is really valuable out there. For example, if you are in a company and that company is about to go for IPO, yeah, or about to have is a public listed. So information in terms of whether you drill and you discover oil or not makes a big difference in terms of the share prices. So this is what we call as insiders trading. So as an engineer, you have an ethics that you need to follow. So if you don't follow and you get complaints, I can assure you it will pass over through me. We don't do well with people who basically misuse of uh your position that you are in, because later when you become an engineer, you hold a lot of responsibility, not just to yourself and to your family, but the public out there. So every single one of you will be someone special. And I know for sure people from the UiTM really go very, very well in the industry. Yeah. And they actually hold quite high positions. If I also have spent in UiTM for 2.5 years studying basically a preparation program to go to the States before that, yeah, before going to the States. So I spent 2.5 years over there. So sempat jugalah dating dekat the library over in section 2. Yeah. Okay, all right, back to our program over here. So this is the real-time applications in real-time operations and real-time operations monitoring. Number one is integrate the machine learning models to analyze data as it is collected. So you just imagine all this information collected, and then you basically put it, analyze it, and then churn out those information. So it consists of sensors where the information will come in, data processing unit, as well as interface for operators. When we talk about interface for operators over here, is how we basically able to visualize things. If the computer only gives you one and zeros, you will not understand. If the computer churn out for you, whatever language that it understand, it will not uh, let you understand. However, the computer will present itself to you in the form of dashboard. Later, I will show you a little bit of what example of what dashboard is all about. What basically are we seeing and how basically we make decisions out of that. Yeah, provide immediate feedback and insight, continuously analyzing data. So you just may tak, kalau orang akan letih, but this the machine will keep on doing it for 24 hours without fail, but sometimes it have some downtime lah. But again, you just imagine this machine, they do not complain. They say, oh, very tired, I want to go and eat right now. So it doesn't have that, yeah, that problem lah. So that is one thing that is good about dealing with machines as compared to human. Okay, but we need human. We still do need human to actually, do the decision, do a little bit of the analysis, a little bit of understanding or making a sense of what the machine actually churn out for you. So you do need people. You cannot just rely on the machine for right now. Yeah. Probably in the future when there's a lot of data, when there are more algorithm which is a little bit more detailed, yeah, probably then you probably we can begin to understand as well as uh, trust what the computer churned out for you. Yeah. So applications in the real-time operations, the collaboration platform, basically put together the real-time data management. What it does is effectively share and make sure that you are able to visualize so you can see the data, so you ensure the accuracy and the availability of those information. And if you still do not know, WITS-ML is one of the most important part on how basically data is structured. Yeah, WITS-ML, well-site information transfer, standard markup language, very very important. And of course, from Energistic over here is a corporation that comes out with, it's an open system. So if you plan to work with Faazmiar later, you probably will be dealing a lot with ML as well as Energistic, because this is our core thing in terms of putting together the data. Yeah. Because the information will need to be somewhat understood in the standardized way globally. Yeah. Kadang-kadang kalau if you go over to China, China is also using WISML. If you go over to Europe, to US, they are all using the same kind of markup language, which is WISML. It's an understandable part for everyone. Yeah. So all of this data acquisition part, yeah, when we put together this real-time data, it basically includes everything, like from the sensors, from the drilling equipment and their wellbore condition, and so on and so forth. Of course, data transmission is very important as well. If you nowadays, if you don't have internet, you just can't work, because internet is so important, because this is how the data actually is transmitted. Yeah. Data integration is very important as well, because you need to put together all this information, either this from comes from a different database or the same database, so you need to put together so that you can have a complete view of what is going on down there. Again, as I mentioned over, probably people have already mentioned over to you as well. Drilling engineering, petroleum engineering for that matter, and oil and gas engineering for that matter, is more of an art rather than engineering, because we are dealing, especially drilling engineering and reservoir engineering, because you are not able to know, you don't know, you can't see what is down there 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers down the hole. You rely on the sensors that is down there, as well as your understanding of science, and the computer combines it, and then it presents to you in the form of graphs, in the form of logs, so that you can understand and visualize what happens down there. So data visualization is very, very important. In fact, it is one of the major things on how data is presented over to you. Real-time analysis, again, that is done by the computer, where each one of the system will take a look and identify a certain trend and anomalies, um, as I mentioned over earlier as well. Decision support is where you put together the that supports both of the drilling operators and engineers, and about the drilling parameters, what basically is the numbers that we should be use, some insight that goes along with it. Safety monitoring is so important as well, because this is part where it will detect and alert all the personnels. What what are you going, because whenever before incident happens, usually you will have indicators, yeah, indicators. So probably say, for example, if you have one, if you have something that is something heavy that is hanging on your head, what is the indicator that that items will be will be falling on your head? Number one, the wind. If the wind is too strong, for example, it may break the line that is putting together. That's number one. Number two, how old is the line that is holding this weight over here? Because if it is too long, it has already worn out, and it will just snap and hit my head. What else can be done? Probably you have someone working up there that probably will touch the weight. So all of this require sensor. All of this require data from your maintenance. And what is this? It requires environmental. So what happens in the environment? So all of this information comes in together and advise you, Raza, there's something going to fall down on your head. So it tells me that you go red alarm over there. So I basically will need to do something about it lah. So if I just tekan ignore that computer, then when that thing actually hits my head, who else am I to blame other than myself? Because all of that is already done for you. Yeah. Drilling optimization, of course, it optimizes drilling. It takes out, it will tell you, okay, probably you slow down a little bit, because I think your cuttings, based on the sensors that I'm getting right now, based on the pressure that we are looking at, you probably will need to slow down your drilling, because if you don't, you will get stuck. uh, so it will tell you all of that. Yeah. Well, productivity, of course, it will tell you that as well. Historical data storage, very, very important. Cyber security, as I mentioned over to you earlier, the security is really, really important in oil and gas industry. Information are so crucial over here. Okay. All right. So that is what applications of the real time is all about. And a quick one about the data standards that we use, as well as the general description. Um, WinSML is one of them. JSON is one of those as well. So if you later would want to go into making up an apps whatsoever, then this information would be very, very valuable over to you. Yeah. All right. And also, in terms of the collaboration platform, operations, surveillance, and support, this is so important as well, because this is where it involves the use of various technologies, sensors, to basically put together all the real-time information. Okay. A lot of this is something that I have already talked about earlier. So I would like to for you to actually ask more questions to me. Ask questions which more of the uh, more asking about my opinion, asking about my experience of dealing with certain items, rather than asking information which you can Google, which you can chat GPT. That one you probably don't need me. You can just do it yourself. But take this opportunity and time asking me information that you would like to know about my experience dealing with things, or my opinion about certain things. Again, as I mentioned over to you, after you have worked in the industry, whatever information that you get from anyone from the industry or from anyone else, yeah, in dealing with uh, not just about information on the real-time information lah, but in general, these information are actually from opinions, yeah, based on opinions, based on experience. If you ask me about, oh, what do I think about, should you're asking me, I'm doing an FDP. I would like to know whether I should be going with multilateral wells, or should I be just doing a slim well, or should I be doing a traditional conventional well? So if you ask me, without much information that I look at it, I would want to go with conventional well. The reason for me is because I find, based on my experience, multilateral. Oh, siapa tu? Can we mute that person? That person who's okay. Thank you. All right. So, if say for example, you asked me that question, whether I prefer multilateral wells or conventional well or slim hole or whatnot. I would go with conventional without understanding or knowing what else information that you have lah. But the reason is because, to me, multilateral wells will provide problems in the future in terms of managing each one of the lateral. And from drilling point of view, it is not easy either to come up with multilateral wells, and it will cost a lot. It will be so expensive that I think it is better to drill three conventional well as opposed to one multilateral well. So, if you ask someone else, in the next person, they probably prefer to use multilateral wells. Again, when at this stage, yeah, when you ask about opinion, you don't ask about facts. If you want to know about facts, you can always refer to Google for textbooks or whatsoever, or papers, because that's where facts comes in. But when you ask for practitioner, you ask opinions as well as their experience, and their experience could be different from yours or from anyone else, or even from your lecturers. Your lecturers will have a different sets of opinions, different sets of answers. It is you who will evaluate what basically you want to use. So at the university's level, please don't limit yourself to the textbook or to facts, because you are now a creator. Yeah, you have so much in you that you can do a whole lot of good in the industry. Okay, all right, back to our talk over here. Predictive maintenance, very, very important, because in real-time operations, we would know, uh, okay, this well, or this particular BHA we have run for 36 hours, but the indication shows that there's a little bit of vibration that we are sensing from the sensors over here. Probably we will need to take it out, and we will need to do maintenance on the BHA. You see, very, very important. Yeah. Drilling optimization, as I keep on mentioning over to you, learning it basically optimize what would be the best for your operations. Anomaly detection, it basically will take a look at any pressure change, any kind of, sometimes this anomaly uh because of glitches of your sensors, glitches of human error, and things like that. Up to this point, I don't think we want to leave that for the computer to decide. uh, so all of these warnings will come to human, and human will take a look and evaluate. Oh, this one, ala Ahmad tadi tripping dekat tripping on that the apa ni, the sensor, so that's why it got kicked out a little bit, or probably someone was tadi terbersin ke whatsoever, that kind of things. Like so anomaly detection is very important, and of course the safe monitoring, very very important as well. Okay, all right, these are some of the sample that I would like to show over to you. What we look at, how this information is very important. So on the dashboard it will give you all this colorful stuff. Yeah, so for you, number one is to understand what this colorful stuff actually means to you or to the operations. And then you can visualize what is going on down there. Yeah. But before you go into this part over here, now is the time where you are learning the basic principles of what these items is all about. Yeah, that's the reason why you go to uni, because I would have time to tell you, these logs over here represent something that is something that you learn right now. In fact, when you come over to work in the industry or to work with Faazmiar, for example, try to learn as much as you can. You make use of the technology that UiTM is providing you. Yeah. So if you have access to any applications whatsoever, then make use of those. Take that opportunities up. There, I know there are companies out there providing you all with free access to applications. So make use of these applications. I can tell you, you will use more of applications in the future than anything else. However, in order for you to understand what you are looking at, or to make you really, really good in what you do, is for you to understand the basic principles of what these informations are. Yeah. All right. And also some of this, looking at, all the ROPs, whatnot, these are some of the information that you get. Yeah. And also it comes in the form of course, the mobile as well. Yeah. And also another form of logs that you get, another form of logs where all of this information is made available to you, and each one of these actually means something. Yeah. All right. And the next are advantages of machine learning. So you have heard of the things that we have just now. So one of the things is enhanced decision making. It basically will take a look at the machine learning and provides actionable insight, meaning that it will tell you, okay, this is how you will want to consider in your drilling operations, probably slow down the drilling operations, and so on and so forth. So enhance decision making. I can decide what's going on without all of this information too, but of course I have to study a lot more before that. And number two is I will need to be really, 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 really good with the operations in order for me to come up with a good decision. So it enhances the decision making, reduce downtime because it predicts, yeah, because it has the capability to foresee, yeah. We will have some problems. We will probably have equipment failure. It will have some operational interruption. It can foresee. Uh, it can predict. So when we predict problems, if we avoid that problems, then we will not be having problems with the downtime. So that's how it helps. Of course, improve safety, as I mentioned over to you, I gave you some examples as well, in terms of how basically safety part is so important. Um, Whenever that the well gets into the well control situation, you really do not want it to prolong, number one. You do not want it to escalate into a blowout. You would want it to, to end as soon as possible, because whatever that you do offshore, it is, it is so expensive. So, say for example, to give you an understanding of how much it costs, in the rig itself is about 100, probably last time went all the way up to 200, 250 US dollar per day, and that is over in Malaysia. And also, say for example, if you take a look at the rest of other parts of the expenses that we have on drilling operations, it can come up to about 250 to 300,000 US dollar a day, 24 hours. And if we, divide that to minutes, you probably will be spending like 3,000 or to 6,000 US dollar per minute. So the longer that you take to make decision, or the longer the operations you make, cost that amount of money. So that's the reason as well. It is very, very important that you really appreciate that you will be contributing to the industry later. Yeah, cost saving definitely is. Yeah, definitely is. And next, this is the last slide before the conclusion. So challenges and consideration. Number one, high quality data. High quality data is so important because for machine learning, they will need to be able to really learn, meaning that if it learns the wrong data, the wrong information, then it will actually make a wrong recommendation to you. It will put in a wrong squiggle line, a wrong color code, a wrong alert at your visualization, data visualization of a screen over there. So high quality data is so important, and high quality data is not easy to obtain. Yeah, as I mentioned over to you, what kind of the how do you want to clean up and also pre-process your data, it takes a long time. Yeah. So, and but as you go along, all of this information will eventually go into the system. Yeah. Number two is about the integrate with the existing system. So the challenges, number one, the data. Number two is we have a system. We want to put in a new system over there, a new workflow. It will be quite troublesome. It will be quite challenging. The reason is because people are so used to work on a certain product, a certain applications, because they already have that workflow ingrained in their mind. But when we come in and put a new system to actually help them eventually, however, in the meantime, that person will find it quite hard to actually relearn back things that you have learned. But again, as I mentioned over to you, always open yourself to changes, because nothing else in this world remain constant other than the changes that you will see every single day. So if you don't, prepare yourself to accept change and to also elevate yourself to the changes, then you will be part of the dinosaurs. Or first, the nearest would be you will be part of the office furniture. Yeah. Okay. So number three over here is the skills and expertise. Implementing machine learning requires specialized skills in both data science and also drilling operations. So that's the reason why when I look for interns, when I look for people who wants to work for Faazmiar Technology, I would actually need them to actually have drilling engineering background, like all of you over here have some drilling engineering background, as well as in some of the data science as well as technology. If you are able to do a little bit of programming, you understand what Power Apps works, or have come up with applications on Power Apps, a simple one, then finding work over in Faazmiar Technology is will be much easier for you lah, because those are the kind of people that we take even from the fresh graduates. Yeah. Um, and number four over here is the ethical consideration and data privacy. So very, very important. I kept on mentioning over to you about being a professional engineer and being ethical in your work. This is again a part of the challenges that we have, because the data that we make use of will have some issues in terms of the privacy. The information that we use will actually be very, very uh, valuable out there to the right people. Yeah. So, and you as a user, either you are in the service provider, a contractor like in Fazmia, or Petronas as a client or the operator. Yeah. So, all of this is information because it is very important to make sure that you keep all of those confidential. Okay, so those are the challenges and also consideration. In conclusion, uh, machine learning offers transformative potential for the real-time operations analysis in drilling. So without machine learning, it is very hard for us to justify what real-time operations is all about, because if we just monitor real-time information, all we get is visualization of what is happening out there, and you can't really do anything at all. That's not the value that real-time operations actually bring to the table. Real-time operations brings in value to the operations because it can predict what is what is going to happen, what kind of operations that you should be running, and so on and so forth. That is the value, to reduce costs, to basically have a safer environment for working, as well as making sure that we don't go into trouble. Yeah. Leveraging advanced algorithm and real-time data every single day, this machine learning is getting better and better. And again, as I mentioned over to you again and again, do not be afraid of machine learning. It does not take away your job. What it does is that it elevates your job to the next level, because you will be a better human being. You need to be, a more critical mind human being rather than doing a menial job. Yeah. So more and more algorithm are created to make sure that our life would be much simpler. Even at the autonomous level of drilling, we are still needed, because we are human who basically can never be replaced by any machines for that matter. Yeah, even at autonomous, you see what robots actually do. The robot does not have any soul in it. It does not have experience in it. Even though I put all of my experience inside the machine, it does not equate me. Yeah, that's how special I am. Okay, so that's how special you are as well as an engineer that will be going out there to work. So do not be afraid of the technology. Make use of the technology and enhance efficiency, safety, as well as decision making in drilling operations. So that's all that I have. Just to let you all know, this is the team that we have at our client side. So we have a team that is at the client side, and we have also a team that manage the software in the office at our office. And these are the heroes out there who basically dealing with the real-time operations monitoring. And this over here, thank you so much for listening. This is our family of Faazmiar Technology. I open up the floor for any questions. It's 10:20 right now. So we will need to give time for the next speaker. And I open up any questions you may have. Tak ada question.
Uh, Hi,
Yes.
Mr.
Okay.
Abdul Razak.
Yes, Hakim.
Assalamualaikum. Uh,
Waalaikumsalam.
Hakimi,
Go
Hakimi.
ahead.
You can go ahead, Hakimi.
Keep going. If you have question first.
Hakimi just now raised his
Okay,
hand.
okay.
Hakimi.
Alright.
Yes, please proceed.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Abdul Razak.
Hi.
I'm also coming from oil and gas engineering study in UiTM here. Uh, there's a lot of stuff to be asked here, but then I think that was internal lah for Faazmiar technology on what's the approach on creating the models and what. But I have some experience in machine learning, and you said that you use SVM, support vector modeling. Does it have any issue with the time to process the model or so what? And don't you guys try to use the decision tree model?
Ah, that question is really, really a good question. It's very, very technical. I probably is not the best person to actually answer that question. But we do have a specialist in-house as well, Tengku, who basically will be able to answer that question much better. However, in terms of your question is very technical. So, decision making, is it the decision tree and whatnot, what model to be used? That is actually under the programming of an applications, and which is actually goes under our principle. So that part I will not be able to answer, but again, I can research that a question over later and answer you on email instead. Thank you so much, Hakimi, for that question. That is a really,
Okay,
really
okay.
great question.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, sir.
And also just to in terms of the time, yeah, the real-time operations is all about timing. So if you have you make an analysis that takes too long of a time to generate the outcome, that will not be a usable analysis, because in real-time operations we would want to be able to make that decision there and then. So the model that we use usually will be the model that will bring out the best, the fastest information out. Yeah. Okay. Can I have a next question? Okay. So if you all don't have any question, yes.
Assalamualaikum. I
Waalaikumsalam.
Razak.
Yes.
I have one question, yeah. Because like myself, I do some research on machine learning lah for final year project, something like that. But the main challenge on this research, because we have limitation to get access to the real data, especially data Malaysian data lah. Okay, so what is your suggestion for the accommodation for the academician to do research on machine learning to predict like drilling rate, but to get access to data is an issue because it's privacy and so on. So what is your suggestion in this case? Yeah.
Okay, my suggestions would
Yeah.
be to approach Petronas because
Mm-hmm.
that is the data ownership is actually from them. From my experience, as a consultant with Petronas previously, we do welcome academics that wanted to make use of information. Of course, nowadays, data is more accessible as what it was before because before it was very very hard, but for right now I think Petronas is a little bit more open in terms of the data that will be used for academics, because we want to make sure that we are able to progress together, yeah, in terms of the tech. From right now we are a lot more on the technology user rather than developer, and what you are trying to do is to actually make us a technology developer. um Mr. Azishan will probably better answering this, but to me, I think even at the Faazmiar level, we can actually request some of the data to be actually make use for the academics, yeah, and uh, we can certainly work together, yeah, to request those information so that we can be used together in the academics. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Arina.
Thank you, Raza.
Any more question?
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, I
Yes.
have a question.
Yes,
Um,
Mr. Lester.
yeah, my name is Lester. So my question is, could you share some of example of successful application of um machine learning in real time, which is useful nowadays and is looked for after in many companies?
Okay, I think Mr. Azisham will actually be showing you some of the samples of machine learning, the successes that we have at Petronas, Petros Serigali, from the point of view of, later, probably this is the right time for you to understand a little bit about a service provider and also the operator. Service provider basically will do the work. We get all the information, we get all of those, how basically it's done. However, the ownership of whatever that we do falls on the operator. So in terms of the successes and showing you the data as well as the accomplishment of something, it will be under the operator side. And I think Azisha will be showing you some of those examples of the successes. And in wells that we conduct the machine learning, AI, we do have the products. Say, for example, if you realize, I did not put in the product name in my presentation because that is not very ethical for a professional engineer to do so. Please, whenever that you are working, please understand about the ethics of engineering, yeah, what you can and cannot do, because we do not want to promote products over here, yeah. But what the things that is being used right now, from it has the machine learning capability, and it is actually being used at the moment, and it gives you the alert. So alert before things actually happen. And when we put together the KPI, it will show, what is the cost saving uh, in case this has not been detected before. But I will not be showing you specifically right now. I hope Aziz Sham actually will share those successes using the applications of real-time operations that we have. Okay. All right. Next.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lester. And a little bit more about when you go into work later, yeah. Uh, Ethics is so important. Small things like presentation to people, unless you are given the time to actually promote your product whatsoever. Like for myself, if you realize I only did like probably two slides talking about Fazmia, what we do and all that, and I don't elaborate that much, because the talk is all about technical things, and we do not want to influence people with a certain product name or certain, we are not allowed to do that. Yeah. Okay. All right. More questions, please.
Insinyur Abdul Razak.
Yes. And the other thing, if I may correct people, whenever that you have IR in front, you always call it just engineer Abdul Razak, and not insinyur would be something that Indonesia would use, but for Malaysia, you just call it engineer Abdul Razak. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, what I want to ask you about your experience. So, what is a crucial problem that you face in your job?
Okay, the biggest challenge that we have, if this is generic, yeah, because we have many clients globally. The biggest challenge I would say is to make people realize that the the machine learning, the applications that we are introducing is not taking over their jobs, because people are so used to doing things, and we have workflow for each one of the work to be done, and we are basically interrupting their workflow. We are interrupting, so it is a disruptor. So if you know about disruptor, is about people, an effective way of making a process more efficient. Yeah, that's what this disruptor is all about. So when we disrupt people's workflow, people are not very accepting to make use of this. But probably in the future, once the machine learning is more established in the industry, things will be much easier. So number one that I face would be the challenges would be more of the behavioral, more of the way of people accepting the difference of having a machine learning applications in their workflow. Yeah. But the second thing that we usually have is the cost, because whenever that we first implement, before we're able to see the value of what machine learning applications does, is that we need to spend. We need to spend in terms of the center. We need to spend in terms of people, and so on and so forth, before we are able to see the value that comes out of it, which means the value that comes out of shorter amount of time to drill, safer way of doing things, as well as the lesser but the prediction of what problems may occur and all that. So once the value kicks in, then you realize that you are saving a lot more than what you already spent. So that people will need to realize. So when we go in and want to implement, those are two major items. In terms of coming up with the softwares and things like that, that is not as much of a challenge because those are something that we can deal with because it's all technical, it's all about technology, it's all about making use of our whatever that is available in the market right now, rather than things that we cannot change, more of the behavioral part. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the question. Did I answer your question? I hope I did answer your question.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Any other question?
I have one another question.
Okay, please proceed.
What are the trade-off between using traditional rule based on algorithm and machine learning's approach for real-time decision making in drilling?
What is the trade-off using the algorithm versus the machine learning? Okay, that's a very good question. That actually goes into the slides that I was using just now, between the supervised and unsupervised versus the third one, which is the reinforcement learning. Yeah. So if, say, for example, the first two items is where the machine learning, it spits out the recommendation, and it depends on us, on the engineers to figure out, okay, this is something that I will do. Yeah. So I will make that decision instead of letting the algorithm, which is the reinforced learning, to actually do that for me. Um, to me, I am not yet comfortable. I am not yet comfortable to go to the next level, which is using algorithm to make that decision for me. That's the reason why the parts that we are actually pushing through right now is more on the machine learning, but there are still a component of human to do that intervention. Yeah. So for the autonomous drilling, just like autonomous driving the car, it has the the downside of it. You can see, like, Tesla cars hitting people and so on and so forth. Those are the failure of algorithm. Yeah. So in oil and gas industries, we cannot afford to run over people. We are not afford to actually do mistakes in those areas. So that's the reason why our focus right now, until we really, really manage to actually get the algorithm that learns a lot more data, and the algorithm that have a little bit more uh, sophisticated, then we will have confidence. The technology is actually available right now, and some of it is being used, but again, we will use it with caution. Yeah, there's still human intervention in it. Yeah. So to me, the trade-off is once the algorithm has been developed, that is really, really solid, something that we have confidence with, something that we have a lot more experience with, then we will go into the autonomous drilling in the future. Yeah. I hope I answered your question. Did I answer your
Yes.
question? Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Thank you. More questions, please. Please. You can have discussion, but not all of the, as you can see, not all of the answers I can give, because some of the answers are beyond my expertise, my level of understanding or learning. So and I basically will try to find out more of the answers that I cannot answer at this moment. So any questions at all, or if you would like to discuss anything at all, please do make yourself available. Yeah, go ahead. If there is none, then I guess I pass back over to Daniel to close out the session. Go ahead. I have Dr. Arina.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Yes.
Okay, one
Yes.
more question. Just now you mentioned about there is difference between automation and autonomous, right?
Yes.
Actually, can you share with us what is the difference between these two?
Okay. But when we talk about automation, is things that from machine learning, you learn and then you do things. Yeah. So automation is something that is still a human touch in it, yeah, where we can actually see what is the things that is being done by the machine, and we still can control. While autonomous is where we let the machine actually handles everything. Automation, you do all of that, and then human interaction where we still probably okay, yes, yes, okay, yes. But automation, it will run by itself without you interrupting. So that is the difference between the two, yeah, automation and autonomous. So that this actually not just apply to our industry in oil and gas, but also everywhere else in terms of the car, in terms of our other transportation, in terms of our other machines out there that is doing in as part of manufacturing, yeah, manufacturing of electronics whatsoever. So those are the things that we can do lah. The difference between autonomous and automation. Yeah. Okay. Any more question?
Is it the same autonomous and real time? Yeah.
Well, the real time is another set of things, because real time is just a reporting of what is going on to in front of us. So when we visualize, we are visualizing whatever that happens real time, meaning whatever happens out there, so in real time, it will present it over to us. While automation is basically is done at the back end, where you have some, when operations going on, you from the sensor, from the environment, and from any other information that you have previously, all of that is data analyzed, and then it got presented real time on our visualization. So the automation, autonomous is the back end of it, and the real time is something that you see in front of you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I
Thank
really
you.
answer. Okay, is there any
Any
more question? The floor?
You can always contact me. I think Dr. Arina have my contact information. Please do email me. I still do one question from Mr. Lester. I will get back to you on that. If you can send an email over to me with the same question, that would be great as well. I will try to get an answer for you. That is a very good question. Go ahead. I'll pass back over to Daniel.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Abdul Razak bin Yaakob, for answering this question. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we take in a break, we will be having a short photography session with all the speaker and participants. Can you open your camera, please?